Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back. This is the part 4 of the Golang Collie crawler series where we're building an IMDB crawler using Golang Collie library. And so in the part 1, 2 and 3 of the video series, we have created quite a bit of code. Now we're going to continue that. And we have, as you can see, we have two instances of the Collie library. One is C, one is called info collector. C is going to crawl through the profiles as we have written in the previous video, part 3 of the video. And now info collector is going to go through each of the profiles. So that's why it says info collector.visit each of the profiles, right? Now we want to give some abilities to our C instance so that it's able to click on the next page, right? So because when we run this search query, we'll get a long list of people, right, of stars, and then there'll be a next there'll be pagination, then there'll be next pages. So we want our C crawler to be able to click on the next page as well, right? And then our info collect, and then we want to write some functionality where our info collector is able to actually make sense of the data when after it visits the profile and is able to get us the data in this type of a structure, right? So those two things are the things that are pending, and we'll try and finish up our crawler in this video itself. All right, so we'll say c.on HTML. So the first things first, let's give it the ability to go to the next page. So lister page next, which is the name of the ID of the next button on this on IMDB. So func e, and we pass the reference, we point the pointer to collie.html element, and we'll say next page is equal to e.request. So we have to make a request, obviously, dot absolute URL e dot attribute href, right? So if you're not understanding this, it basically means that you're making a request to the absolute URL, right, where with href basically. So the link inside the next button, right, will be there in the href, right? href tag will have the link of the next page. So we just want to activate that, and we just want the link of the next page to come inside next page, and we just don't so we want that in the next page, and we want to now visit that page. Okay, so we'll say visit, and we'll say next page, right? So that makes sense. I think that's pretty straightforward. We're just visiting the next page. That's all we're doing actually. So actually sometimes I feel that if I over explain, then you'll probably get more confused, right? So I try to stop myself from over explaining things that are easy. So now we have to, like I said, we have to write our info collector. So this is going to be the highlight of the program. It's going to be long function. So the info collector basically makes sense of the IDs present on the page, on the IMDb page, and it's going to assign that to name, photo, job title, birth date, basically all these values, and it's going to create a star struct for us. And it's going to do one more thing actually. For each of these stars, it's going to visit the movies page as well. All the movies, it's going to scrape all the movies also of that star, right? So let's start doing that. So we'll say info collector dot on HTML, and we'll say content to wide, and we'll call the function func e star collie dot HTML element. All right, and here our temporary profile is equal to star, right? So it's a type of struct star. So what we're trying to basically do is so where is that function? Just a second. Yeah, so we're trying to create a profile which will be of type star. So we're going to have everything inside this profile function, right? So that means temp profile dot name, right? Because the first thing that we want is, according to this struct, is the name. Then we want the photo, then we want the job title, birth date, bio. And for movies, we'll have to scrape all the movies, right? It will be a type of slice. So let's do that. All right, so for name, we want the child text of h1 dot header span dot item prop. I've already visited IMDB. I've taken a note of all these elements on that website, so you can do the same. You can do the same, or you can just copy and paste, or just follow along whatever I'm doing, right? Same thing exactly. Dot. I'll put this code out on GitHub so that you'll be able to access it. You don't have to write, all these tags on your own. Child attribute, and we'll use the name poster, src. All right, so we'll get the photo from here, the src tag. That's what we need. Then we need the job title, tmp profile dot job title e dot child text of hash name job categories a span dot item prop. All right, so we have job title. Now we need the birth date dot, sorry, the O by mistake is capital, I just have to make it smaller. And then we have birth date e dot child attribute hashtag name born info time, comma, format is date time format. Okay, so I think we have got our name, photo, job title, birth date. Now we need the bio and then the movies. All right, so the bio, so temp profile dot bio is equal to strings dot trim space so for bio we're going to say e dot child text and name bio text. So again, these are all CSS elements, right? All CSS IDs and elements. You can either go to the website IMDB and right click and get these, or you can just follow along with whatever I'm doing. Trivia name, sorry, there's name and then dash trivia dash bio and dash text. Now I'm not going to what I'm not doing in this video is going between the browser and then right clicking and showing you all these different IDs, because that will waste your time, as in a 20-minute video will become a 40-minute video, and I don't want to do that. So you can either do that, or you can, like I said, just follow along, or even you'll even get this code on GitHub most probably. I'll upload it there, so you can just take reference, not a problem. So now we have the bio, we have all of these things. The only thing that we don't have right now are the movies, right? The top movies. So what do we do? So we'll have to run the for each. We'll have to run a for each loop, and we'll have to, for each of these stars, we'll have a lot of movies, right? So basically, when you visit IMDb, you'll have this known for, right? For each star, you have this known for, as known for all the movies that he's been in, he or she has been in, right? And so that's what you need. You need all those movies. So we're going to say e dot for each, e being our profile, right? Profile of the star, and for each, and we'll say div dot known for title. So he's known for these movies. Func int is the iterator. We're not using the iterator, so it'll be blank here. We'll use the blank character, and then we'll use, instead of e, we're passing kf, which is again the list of movies. We're passing it to this function. All right, so we'll say collie dot html element, and then so for each of these movies, right, we're going to run this function. So for each tmp movie, so like we created temporary profile, now we're creating temporary movie. So each movie, as you know, movie will be of type struct, for example, right? Will be of type struct, and type movie, which is a struct, and it'll have two things, title and year, right? So we need to get those from this page. So we need to get tmp movie dot title kf dot child text. So kf is each of the movies, right? So kf dot child text, and here we'll write the name of the div, which is name of the element, sorry. So div, inside the div called known for title role, we will have a dot known for ellipsis. That's the CSS tag for it. And so we've got the title now. What we need is the movie here. So movie dot here is equal to kf dot child text, and we'll say div dot known for, and here span dot known for ellipsis. All right, so we have known for title role, which is the title of the movie, and the year of that movie. So we have both of those things. So we'll say now we want this temp movie to be part of the temp profile, right? So each profile, as you can see, has top movies in it. So whatever movies that we got now, we want to append them to this top movies slice, right? I hope I'm making sense. Each profile has a lot of movies. We have received the movies. Now we want to append for each of these, right? Or each of these movies, we want to keep appending that to the movies in the profile. All right, so that's what we're doing here. tmp profile dot top movies is equal to append tmp profile dot top movies, comma tmp movie. So the movie, all the data that we received from here, we're just going to append it to our temp profile dot top movies slice. All right, so in our temporary profile, there was only one thing missing, right? We got bio, budget, all of those things we got. We just need the movies, and for movies, this is what we did, and we were now able to append that movie, which has title in here, to our top movies slice. All right, so I hope this is clear. I mean, if you have any doubts, if you have any issues, you can put them in the comments below, and I'll try to solve them for you. Don't worry. This is not very complicated code, right? When it comes to Golang, the first crawler that we made, which used Go channels and Go routines, that was, in my opinion, that was more complicated because you had different Go routines and you had to, talk between different channels and all of those things. This is quite straightforward, at least from what I think. If you find this difficult, then please let me know. I will, and if you find any specific part difficult in this, please let me know. I will try to help you out. So what we've received in the temp profile, right? We want to now basically convert it into JSON, right? So we'll use JSON Marshall indent. This is coming, by the way, JSON is coming from the encoding/JSON library that we have imported on top in the import statement. And here we'll say temp profile, comma, and a couple of spaces between these. And if there is an error, which means error is not equal to nil, then we'll log out the error. So we'll say this fatal and error. All right, and then we'll say fmt dot print line, and we'll print the star, basically the temp profile. We'll print it out. All right, and now we'll write just two little lines. Okay, so we'll say c dot on request, basically to tell us, the user, in the command line, that when the crawler is visiting some links. So we'll say func r, and we'll pass callee dot request as a pointer. All right, and we'll say fmt dot print line, so visiting r dot url dot string. Okay, so it'll tell us when it's So we want to know when C, our instance 1 of Collie is visiting something, and we want to know when info collector is visiting something. So we'll say info collector dot on request func r Collie dot request fmt dot println visiting profile URL, because it visits profiles, right? The info collector. Say r dot URL dot string. All right. So whenever C or info collector makes a request, we will print it out. So I hope that's clear. So more or less, I think that is the entire code. And I'm just going through it to make sure that everything is proper, and if there's no error that I can see at least. But I'm sure when we'll run this code there will be errors, and you know, as a developer you have to be very comfortable with looking at errors and, you know, receiving a lot of errors and solving them and trying to find out the reason. But I'll just give it a very, very cursory kind of a look, and you can do that if you're coding along with me. You can do that as well. You can try to see if you have made any visible mistakes. By visible mistakes I mean like, you know, typos, or if you've left you know, is equal to sign out by mistake, if you've made any spelling mistakes, right? So I'm just going to go through that quickly in about 30 seconds. I think just give me 30 seconds. You can forward this part if you're getting bored, but I highly recommend that you know, read the entire code if you're coding along with me, and just make sure that you have not made any stupid mistakes, silly mistakes, right? I can see one silly mistake here, so it should have been child attribute. It was just showing LD. So this was on line 55 where we're trying to get the profile photo. So instead of child attribute, I just written LD by mistake. I don't know how that happened. And so I have child text, child attribute here, and I'm sure there'll be so many more mistakes. Only when we'll run the code we'll come to know those mistakes, right? Especially in these tags, mostly I'll have those mistakes. And then we have our movie part, and then we have our Marshall indent. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be having any fatal or critical errors. So let me head over to the place where I've written the code, cd dev go code, and I think it's called Collie project. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll try to run the main.go files. Go run main.go. So as expected, we have some errors. It says line 36, so I'll have to now see what's there on line 36, and it says expecting comma line 36. All right, out here just put a comma out here. All right, so now let's see what does it give us. Any errors now? e.child attribute undefined. All right, method has no field, or method child attribute does have child attribute. Okay, the C has to be capital. I think that's what it's saying on line 55. C has to be capital on line 55. Yeah, so C is not capital here, it has to be capital. All right, so Golang errors are, in my opinion, they're like way better than JavaScript errors, because I mean, it's so clear, right? You don't even have to worry much. I mean, it tells you what the error is. So now it's started visiting these profiles. It's visiting, and it's getting the data exactly as we wanted, right? It's getting name, photo, job title, birth date, bio, and the top movies, and it's visiting this profile again. So it's visited all of these profiles, right? I'll keep visiting more and more profiles, but I'm going to go ahead and stop it because I don't want to be blacklisted by IMDB. I think about so I don't think you'll get blacklisted, but who knows, you know, because we're not randomizing. Maybe Collie is, I think Collie below the surface, it does randomized requests, but there's like so many things that we can do, right? with scraping, you can randomize your IP addresses, you can have multiple IP addresses, and you can have like complete distributed scraping going on. So since we're not doing all of that, we've not purchased any safe proxy IP addresses and all those things. So I'll try to just scrape only 1015, and I'll recommend the same to you also. Just try scraping 1015, because we don't know if IMDb has a blocker or captcha or whatever, right? So as you can see, the structure that we wanted is perfect, in the sense we have name, photo, job title, birth date, bio, and then we have the top movies, right, with title and year. So everything seems to be working perfectly fine, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot, and if you have reached this far, then I would highly recommend subscribing to this channel, because you'll be basically updated whenever these kind of videos come out. And I have some really serious awesome videos coming out very soon, and we'll be able to build our own sitemap crawlers. We'll write some code in Golang that will be able to create sitemaps in the first place. So we'll have these kind of programs that we'll be writing very soon. So do consider subscribing to this channel, and thanks a lot.